Welcome back to Xbox On, where we've got another round of awesome deals for you, starting off with a selection of sporting titles to match those summer vibes. First up, we've got a massive price cut on the next-gen version of NBA 2K21. For basketball fans, this really is as good as it gets, providing the most authentic, immersive, and absurdly good-looking version of the sport so far. From the players' facial expressions to the precise roll of their wrist as they deliver that perfect layup. It all looks incredible, especially on the Xbox Series X. Because you haven't really dunked on someone until you've dunked on them in native 4K. Beyond its stunning visuals, NBA 2K21 comes with a host of great game modes. You can take a rookie player all the way to the playoffs in My Career, or get back to basics with a casual 3-on-3 throwdown in Parks. And whatever sort of match you're after, if you're an Xbox Game Pass member, you can shoot your shot without spending another penny.
Let's just clear one thing up first. In the video game version of Tour de France 2021, you will not have to worry about being taken out by a cardboard sign. I promise. And that's good because you're going to have plenty on your mind already. After all, you've got an entire team to manage while you ride, a peloton to navigate, and key decisions to make all through the race as you try to sneak ahead without burning yourself out too early on. This isn't a sports game where you'll win through a single moment of brilliant reflexes or dumb luck. Each race is an exercise in careful planning, cunning strategy, and precise execution, which can make it all the more satisfying when you finally get to claim that yellow jersey for yourself. Unless you really don't look good in yellow, in which case, I don't know what to tell you. Either way, you can now ride along with 2021's Tour de France for 33% off.
Golf clubs are known for being somewhat exclusive, but PGA Tour 2K21 is all about accommodating everyone, with a wide range of customizable assists and indicators to help you master that perfect swing. Just kind of like your own personal Mr. Meeseeks, only without the existential terror. But make no mistake, the help on offer doesn't mean for 1 second that the latest PGA Tour is any less of a challenge. Even once you've got the hang of squaring your shoulders and stuff, you'll need to learn how to read the green, play against the wind, and master all of the other little intricacies that make the difference between a birdie and a bogey. Whether you've been playing golf games since Tiger Woods was just a cub, or you're picking up a virtual club for the very first time, PGA Tour 2K21 is the place to be, and membership is now a massive 67% off.
Sports like golf and cycling are elegant, time-honored contests filled with historic rituals and precise codes of conduct, but they don't contain a lot of chokeholds, do they? We're kind of a sucker for chokeholds around here, which is where UFC 4 comes in, featuring astonishingly lifelike versions of mixed martial arts icons like Conor McGregor and Brock Lesnar, for you to beat into a barely recognizable pulp. UFC 4 is the perfect way to relieve some tension at the end of the day. There's also a deep technical fighting game underneath all that brutality, with a complex submission system that will have you twisting and turning your opponent's limbs like you're trying to solve a person-shaped Rubik's Cube. And now it's been ramped up to 60 frames per second by FPS Boost, it all looks wonderfully fluid and can be all yours for just half the original price.
There is a sport that's even deadlier than mixed martial arts though. They call it the deadliest game, and it's frowned upon by civilized society because, well, apparently hunting human beings for sport is morally reprehensible. But not if you're a shark. Maneater lets you stare out through the cold, dead eyes of a bull shark as you swim through the deep blue sea, munching on everything in sight. The more you eat, the bigger you get, and the more stuff you'll be able to chow down on. There really is a beautiful simplicity to the shark's way of life. On the Series X and S, it's now rocking native 4K definition and a smooth 60 FPS frame rate, making it pretty much the most cinematic shark experience since Jaws swam into cinemas all those summers ago. You'll find it lurking in the Xbox Game Pass library, and it's now had 65% torn off its price tag for those who want to buy it outright.
Even before it was 80% off, you'd struggle to find another racing game that gives you more bang for your buck than The Crew 2. For one thing, its persistent open world map is a scaled down recreation of basically the whole USA, which is just completely ridiculous. And not only does it let you race your way from New York to Nashville, but it lets you do so while switching seamlessly between land, sky, and water vehicles. Your souped-up supercar not getting you there fast enough, hop in a jet and fly towards the finish line. And then, when you get bored of that, take a nosedive towards the water and enjoy a little plain sailing for the rest of the way. Plus, you can deck out all your favorite vehicles however you like, thanks to the exhaustive livery editor. So if you've always dreamed of crawling down Route 66 in a powder blue Camaro or flying through the Grand Canyon in a bright red Spitfire, now you can.
But if you fancy spending your summer vacation in somewhere a little more fantastical, you can now take a trip to Tamriel for 60% off with Elder Scrolls Online. One of the greatest things about the Elder Scrolls games has always been how alive their worlds are, with bizarre and brilliant characters. And that's even truer once you take the whole experience online, because there is no elf or goblin half as weird as the random people you meet on the internet. It's a place that just keeps getting more interesting too, with a steady stream of new content like the recently added Blackwood, which features a murky bog and a Daedric plot involving someone known as the Prince of Destruction, who we're sure is a very nice fella once you get to know him. Thanks to another recent update, console players can now take in Tamriel's sights with a host of visual improvements, like 60 FPS and improved draw distances, while Game Pass members can start their new quest right away.
It's great that spider-centric games like Grounded have incorporated arachnophobia mode so that everyone can enjoy them. But if you're phobic of our 8-legged friends and aren't feeling quite so pacifist about the whole thing, Kill It With Fire might be the game for you. It's a game where the entire goal is just to kill all the spiders. And while you might think a can of bug spray or a rolled up magazine would be an appropriate tool for that task, Kill It With Fire lets you deploy everything from dynamite to an honest-to-goodness flamethrower to get the job done. Because you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. And apparently, you also can't kill a spider without setting fire to a few city blocks. At least the game is 40% off, so that should take the sting out of the repair bill a little.
It's been a while since Sam Fisher got to pull on his night vision goggles and sneak out into the night for a bout of espionage action, but you can now relive some of his finest moments with 60% off 3 classic Splinter Cell titles. The original Xbox game introduced us to an intense new kind of stealth gameplay, using what at the time were considered pioneering lighting effects to let you cloak yourself in shadows. They might not stand up to the best ray tracing can offer, but they still get the job done. It was followed directly by Pandora Tomorrow, which saw you chasing down bad guys with a taste for biological warfare. It also boasts an AI which adapts to your skill level, kind of like Hello Neighbor, only with an international terrorist cell rather than just a neighbor who has bad vibes. Finally, we've got the Xbox 360's Double Agent, which added a trust system into the mix, forcing you to navigate morally grey areas while you stalk through the shadows. Each one is a classic title, well worth revisiting.
And finally, we've got one of this year's most interestingly titled games, Werewolf: The Apocalypse Earthblood. And whilst the title doesn't exactly roll off your tongue, the game itself features a fluid combat system that allows you to seamlessly switch between wolf, human, and werewolf forms while you fight for the good of the planet. Seriously, name another game that lets you play as an eco-conscious werewolf. You're playing as someone who is basically Greta Thunberg if she was an animorph. And that's awesome. And the beauty of the world you're fighting to preserve comes through even clearer on the Series X and S, where the game is half price and boasts eye-watering 4K 60 visuals. But we're not just going to leave the Xbox One crowd howling at the moon. They can snag themselves a lovely 60% discount as well.
Whether the summer has you itching to get out onto the field or you're looking to escape from all things sporting, there is a deal to be had this week for everyone. Let us know in the comments which one you'll be taking advantage of, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for all the best Xbox bargains. Bye!